Hello.
Oh, hello.
I'm Sammy,
And I'm Steve.
and you're listening to Rose Plate Special, the most dramatic. Uh, I have nothing. Disco stickingest, bowling
Ew.
dating, bowling datingest. Uh, plantingest recap podcast of the Bachelorette ever, Golden Bachelorette
Ever.
ever. Yeah.
Ever.
And I feel so bad because I literally never do the full plug at the beginning or the end. And I'm
hmm
sure our assistant is like cursing our name every single time. So I'm actually going to start doing it. So if you're confused, if you're here for the first time, first of all, welcome. We are Roast Plate Special, but we are under Pop Culture Diner. And really, the idea is there are some other podcasts that you can find at Pop Culture Diner, including like horror stuff and hopefully more stuff in the future. But right now, it is like mainly Bachelor content.
Just
So
us.
it's just us. So if you're confused, that's why. But you can go way back and you can watch listen to some really good horror podcasts. And hopefully, there will be more to come. But right now, that's what you get. And you can find us on popculturediner.com. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us wherever you found us to listen or watch this. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. And I know very little about our Instagram, but I know we're on there. So there's that. So
We're
there's
there.
that. But I'm on TikTok a lot. So if you want to, find me, you can find me on TikTok. And I don't know, where are you mostly? The ether?
I'm not really posting. I'm like in the ether. I'm out there. You could I guess
Yeah.
I post on Twitter more than anything else. But
Oh my gosh, you're still there.
why not? Like what
Why
when the
not?
ship is sinking, the rats are the last to scurry off, isn't that
That's
right?
fair.
So
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I'm well known for jumping off of ships before they sink.
mm,
I've got a good track record of that. So I'm not there anymore. Well, I look every once in a while. This is so random. I still have uh like a weird character Twitter account that I never got rid of. That I was like I like did a couple like Twitter characters. They were all like very boring. One was like a Midwestern mom who was
mhm.
talking about like making casseroles and watching the Packers. And then basically me. And then there was another one that was like it's just called normal office guy.
Mhm.
And it would just be like, oh, I can't wait to get home and watch Friends. Like it was just shit like that. So I'll like log into those accounts to like see what's going on every once in a while because I still
Okay.
haven't gotten rid of
Well,
those. So
I can tell you if you're into the idea of following me as an individual, I am on every single platform and you will see almost no content whatsoever. So,
yeah, that's
it'd be
wonderful.
great.
Yeah.
I bring a
You'll
lot of
see
value to your life, let me tell
yeah.
you.
For me, you'll see a lot of content all at the same time and then nothing for 3 months.
It's good. It's good.
That's what I do.
We've
But
mastered this thing called social media, folks.
yeah, we're really good at it. People pay us to do it. It's really weird.
hmm
So anyway, that's my way of also saying sorry. We were gone again for 2 weeks. This time, it's all Steve's fault. It's
It's
not my
literally my
fault.
fault. Yeah, had a bit of a family medical
No, no.
emergency, and then I was in Canada for a week after that.
How
So it
dare
happens.
you? How dare you
Sometimes
have
you just
family and work and
yeah.
important life things going on? So
I
rude.
listen. If I'm not eating fresh mussels on Prince Edward Island, who's going to do it? It's either
Yeah,
me
that
or
was
no
like a
one.
pretty nice photo. Yeah. And you're in the Burr months, so that means it's okay. That's what I've learned.
hmm
If you're in the Burr
Yes,
months, that's when you should eat that stuff.
exactly.
I was really busy waiting in line to get my winter jelly box. So that's what I was doing as a
Mm,
subscriber now. I'm not just
yes.
some normie insider. I am a valued
Yeah.
subscriber.
Inner Circle
So
Jilly member. This is
finally
what
made it.
the value the podcast brings.
Yeah, I finally made it to Julie's Inner Circle and I'm so excited. I also got pastel Halloween nails and they're going to be different probably the next time we record. They'll probably be my Lisa Frankenstein style nails. I'm sure you can't even see it. You can't
Whoa.
even see it. I can't. I'm trying to do it and then I'm hitting my microphone. Can you tell? They're like spooky.
I
Okay, I just
like
had to
it.
show somebody because not enough people have seen them since I
No,
got
it's
them.
it's almost like a
Oh,
90s
they're so
Nickelodeon thing. So you're doing good.
I said I was like I want pastel Halloween and they're all different, but the ones with the stitches are really cool. Gosh, can't see that at all. This is such high quality content that I'm sticking my pinky in your face. Okay, I'll figure it out later. You know what? I've got a piece of paper. But yeah, I've been doing that. I've been trying to figure out my computer build and oh, there we go. And got my full costume. Do you have a costume for Halloween? What are you going
I got
as?
nothing. I got
You got
nothing.
nothing?
I have
What are you
nothing. Yeah,
doing?
and I feel bad too because I have to work, so I'm not going to be around for the weekend before Halloween. In addition to that, we live in a neighborhood with zero trick or treaters. So,
Yeah, it's kind of a weird road that you're on.
oh yeah, it's well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on a major road, and I think like the general makeup of the neighborhood that I'm in, it's like an equal mix of like strictly religious, and we don't fuck with Halloween, and
Oh,
we're very old and retired. So yeah, that's just fine.
that's kind of sad. We live in like we moved to like a sitcom neighborhood where like, everybody's out on Halloween and like
Yeah.
they're trick or treating on Halloween. So I was like, okay. And we've been getting dressed up the last 3 Halloweens for the trick or treaters. And a couple
Hmm.
years ago we did Beetlejuice and Chucky. And last year we did Wayne's World, which was kind of like phoning it in, I felt like. But this year we're doing like Lisa Frankenstein and we're going like all out. And I got the costume and everything and very
Nice.
excited. Now I got to figure out how to do Tuck's makeup. But he got like the outfit and everything. And that was, I mean, I still think that's one of my favorite movies this year. That I don't know if it's number one, but it's like top 3 for sure. So
Hmm.
very
I can
excited
see
about
that.
that. Yeah,
It's again,
it's a
it's one of
very
those
me
things
movie.
where, yeah, I'm like literally like as I was watching, I was like, this is nice. And then I'm going through like my brain Rolodex and I'm like, who do I know where this would be their favorite movie ever? And it's like you and like one of my friends from high school who are like whose like entire like personality was I like Tim Burton. So yeah, like
Yeah.
it's cool. It's fine.
It's
It's
like
good.
yeah, it's like I mean, really for me it was like, "Hey, did you like Heathers?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's like half of
Yeah.
my personality." And they're like, "Well, we made you another Heathers." And I'm like, "Thank you for making me
It
another
is.
Heathers."
It is.
So
It's
that's
Tim
yeah.
Burton-y Heathers,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, that's a good way
Yeah,
of putting it.
it's so good, it's so good. And I was also obsessed with Lisa Frank growing up, so, like, the pun works and everything.
Everything is
Um
working in your favor. I love that for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, that's been the exciting stuff here. We're like getting our costumes together. It's like spooky season and I'm going to go see The Substance tonight. I'm going to go see Beetlejuice tomorrow. So like I'm trying to catch
Oh
up on like
man.
all the Halloween things.
I'm
Yeah.
just bummed out because I got invited to a party that I can't attend, and it's
Oh.
a Halloween costume party slash quinceanera for their cat.
Oh
So
my god.
yeah,
That
and it's
I
not
would
and
be
it's
so
a
sad
hairless
to miss
cat
that.
too, so it just looks naturally
Oh.
like a weird little scrotum monster, and I love him. But yeah, I can't go.
I think you're back. Were you gone for a second?
You were gone for a second.
Oh,
It's okay. We'll
no, it was
figure it out.
you. Okay, we're gonna blame this all on you today. No, I'm just kidding. That's so cute. We don't have like yeah, we need more parties. Not necessarily. The thing is, I don't really need much of an excuse at all to dress up. I'll just dress up like I've dressed up for Twitch streams. Should I
Yeah.
dress up for like
When
our
you're savvy,
recording?
every day is Halloween.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I should dress up for our recording, I think. So I will. I'll
Yeah.
dress up as Lisa Frankenstein for our recording.
Okay. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna step my game up. I'm gonna go into my big box of costumes. I'll have to bust something out.
Yeah, because 'cause I'll probably be coming on, like, right after trick-or-treaters are gone. So, yeah, so I'll be all dressed up,
It's gonna be good.
but anyway, we've got a lot to catch up on. We can't be just,
Oh
like,
my
dicking
god,
around for this
no.
long.
We got
Jeez
2 episodes to
Louise.
cruise through. Holy shit.
I
Yeah, come
know,
on.
I know. Okay, and so yeah, so all right. Oh, yeah, and it's the striptease day. Wow, okay.
Is
So
it odd that we've gotten like back to back seasons that are hyper focused on Chippendales? Is there some sort of like Chippendales promotional deal
was
that
it
we're not
Chippendales
privy
or was
to?
it Thunder Down Under?
So I think actually you're right. It was Thunder from Down Under last time, and now it's Chippendales.
Mhm.
So maybe Chippendales came in and they're like, "Hey, why not come to us?" And then they're
Yeah.
like, "Okay, we'll give you a deal."
I think what's really cool though about this one in particular is that they had like the original Chippendales dancers. Like
Yeah,
I thought that was really neat. So,
who still look
um
great, by the way.
yeah.
Like that's not fair. at all.
Yeah, I mean, this was like a fun date. I was like, is this gonna be like kind of, cringy or whatever? But like
Mhm.
I think the reason it worked so well is because all the men put their all into it and they like it was
Oh,
the
totally.
effort was like right there. And except, so all the men were on the date except for Jordan and Guy. And the men all had to like learn a routine and they had to pick out outfits and Gary picked the Nutty Professor, and Jonathan picked Sergeant Sexy, and Charles had
Mhm.
like just like a Hawaiian shirt, I guess. Um, and then they danced to Disco Stick, which was amazing.
Yep, and Caitlin Bristow could not handle her shit. She was just like
No,
she was dying. Yeah, it was
that
great to
was like a
watch.
perfect thing. I know, okay, I feel like I haven't dug into this as much. I feel like Caitlyn gets, like, so much hate, and I don't totally get it. I'm
Mhm.
not saying that she's perfect, and I'm not saying she
Yeah.
hasn't, like, put her foot in her mouth or whatever, but she just gets, like, a level of hate that, like, most former bachelorettes don't get. It's very weird. Anyway, I think that this was, like, the right date for her. It was, like, perfect, and, yeah, the way she reacted was very fun. Um Jonathan was definitely one of the best people for the striptease date, and he was like, "I've never done this before." And then Keith is like, "This is my dream. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to do
Which I love
this."
for Keith. It's like, yeah, what are your lifelong dreams? And for Keith, it's just like, I just always wanted to like raise a family and be a good person and also be a stripper. Sure, Keith.
Yeah,
Whatever,
good for
man.
you, Keith. Like,
Good
that's
for you, brother.
amazing.
Same
Yeah,
with me, Keith. Honestly, like that's my career goal. Imagine me being able to throw away a 9 to 5 so I can just take off my pants and windmill my business around. Like who doesn't want to do that? But
that
unfortunately,
sure.
it's a life I don't think I'll ever be able to live.
I'm sorry for your loss. Um
It's okay. At least Keith, I got to live vicariously through Keith. Like he got to live
Yeah.
out his dreams. So
You know what's funny is I've been so I'm in like a 3 a.m. class right now, which is brutal.
wait, a
Um
what? A
here's
three
Walter.
a.m.
Yeah, I'm taking a class at 3 AM. I have 2 more weeks left. It's been 3 weeks already. Well, it's a global class, so that's why it's at 3 AM.
Okay,
And, it's funny because on my side, you were frozen for a second, and it was like this. You were like that over the microphone. It
that's
was
how I
really
feel about
funny.
3 a.m. classes. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's how you feel.
just mouth
Um,
agape.
so anyway, so it's a global class. Like most of the people are in other countries. Like there's not a lot of us in North America from what I can tell. And the host of the class is like in Sydney. But
Mhm.
anyway, that doesn't really have everything to do with it. It has to do with the fact that I feel like so disjointed right now. So like if I say weird shit, it's just because like I'm not sleeping normal. It's like I have one 3 to 5 a.m. class on Thursday and it fucks up my entire
Oh
week.
yeah,
Like,
that just ruins your life.
I can't sleep before after I'm like, I don't know how I pulled the most, like, wild shit in, like, in college, I was doing 5 AM DJ sessions. I would stay up until 5 AM. I would DJ. I would do laundry because nobody was in the laundry room, and then I would, like, sleep until 2 or 3 and get brunch before it closed. And then just, like, the next day, it was just like it was normal. I'm like, "How did
Yeah.
I do that?"
No, you can't
And now
destroy your
it's
body
like
like that anymore.
yeah, and now it's like, okay, well, I'll get to bed like, I went to bed around 8-ish, okay? And I was, like, tired, and I went to bed
Mhm.
and I woke up at, like, 2:30, and I did this class, and then I went back to sleep for, like, an hour, and then I went to campus and did class, and then I, like, still napped again in the afternoon, and still on Friday, I was like, "I feel fucked up." Like, like, I probably slept, like, a normal amount of hours between all that,
Oh
and I
my
was still
god.
like, it wasn't enough REM or whatever. But anyway, in this class, we're doing this is like such a long way to tell this story. In this class, we're doing like he's encouraged us to do the artist way, like the morning pages and all that stuff. Are you familiar with that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I
That's
feel
been
like
around for a while, right?
it's been around forever. Yeah, yeah. It's like been around forever. It's basically like, to engage with your creative self, like write 3 long form pages, by hand every morning and like once a week take yourself on an artist date and like go on a walk in nature. And I was like, these are all things I like doing independently.
Mhm.
So I'll commit to this and, see this throughout the class. And I'm trying to get through like the 12-week journal and see how I feel afterwards. And one of the prompts I was writing this morning was like, what's something you wanted to it was about art, but it was like, what did you want to do when you were a kid, like artistically? And, like, if
Mhm.
you had another life, what would you want to do focus more on when you're younger? And I mean, I feel pretty lucky because I was never discouraged from doing art as a kid. Like, my dad was
Mhm.
an artist and a musician. And, like, so if he was like, "Art is stupid and not worth your time," that would be, like, kind of
Yeah, that'd
weird.
be amazing.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know, maybe like painting or metal work but I think certain things you should do when you're older, and I did the right things when I was younger or whatever. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is don't let your dreams be dreams, Steve, okay? If you feel like you missed out and it's too late, cuz like I had to write down like it's too late in my life to do this because, and I was like, well, this prompt doesn't really work for me because I've never felt that way about anything ever. I've never been the kind of
Mhm.
person who's like, it's too late for this. I'm like, nah, fuck that. I control time. So don't let your dreams be dreams. If you decide you want to be a stripper, listen, I'm here
Yeah.
to support you. And
Thank you so
I'll bring
much.
dollars and I'll bring one of
Thank
those like that
you.
thing, that shoots all of them out.
You know,
I'll
and
do that.
and and the thing is like I feel like my heart's there, and
Yeah.
but the problem that I'm running into, it's not my desire, it's that I don't know if there is an audience for viewing me partially nude. I just don't think it's there. So
I
we're
mean,
gonna have
we'll
to
ask the
build an
listeners.
audience.
Anyway, so sorry. That took
Keith,
like so
let's start a dance troupe. Let's do it, Keith.
That took so long to tell that story, but I thought it would be worth it. Anyway,
Thank you.
so you're welcome. You're welcome. So Pascal also came out really strong in this. Gary did like I just wrote Gary is doing a little butt thing and then just rips his shirt.
Mhm.
Because that's what he did. Chalk had like he had like the original Chippendales collar, and he's like, ladies like the tush. And Chalk, we see in this episode and in the next episode, he's just like going in strong. He's just like,
Mhm.
I'm going in for the kiss. I'm getting what I want. This is what, we're end game. This is it. And you kind of see that start to develop in like this episode.
Oh
And
yeah.
then they all do their routine. And it was also like for stand up to cancer. And I cried at the end.
Yeah,
I was like, this is so sweet.
it was so nice. Like stripping's
Yeah.
never been this like wholesome and warm and cuddly. But
It was
that's like
so
everything on
empowering.
this season. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was great. It was great.
It was
Uh,
so good.
a few takeaways for me is like I love Chalk, like his arc now. Of I still can't like just because it's Chalk, like just I can't deal with the name.
Yeah,
It
I
kills
know.
me on the inside. I'm trying to get there. I'm working on me to be more supportive of you, Chalk. But it's been amazing watching him go from this like guy who didn't seem to exude a lot of confidence and being kind of a mid-tier dude to just suddenly kind of making his way into the pole position
Yeah.
despite incredible personal strife later in this episode. So good for you, Chalk. Like everybody's kind of finding their groove now, which is nice.
Yeah.
um Also, and I'm curious on your feelings, thoughts on this. I have been a big Pascal supporter from the start just because he's fun. He's
Hmm.
good TV. Like I just like to watch him. I still don't see Pascal as a long-term viable partner option for Joan or maybe anyone that I can think of. Like, do you see a world where Pascal is like that guy?
Well, I don't know if Pascal is that guy for Joan, but I am a big fan, and I know at least one of his daughters is like pretty active on TikTok and has been like sharing
Okay,
photos and stories and stuff, and
that's
and
nice.
which is really cute. What I will say is, and I gotta remember who did it. It's another Bachelor podcast, I think. They're like I think it's called The Batchmaker. I will make sure to tag them, but they did like a really good matching of like Golden Bachelor women and Golden Bachelorette men based on like
Mhm.
who's single and who's left and who they think would be good together. And they had said April and Pascal, and I think that's kind of an ace pairing.
I could see that. That actually
Yeah.
works for me.
I
Okay,
think
I
that
like
that could
that.
they could, like, even each other out, like, she's kooky enough that, like, he would think that's fun, and I
Mhm.
don't think she would think it's weird that, I don't know, that he's, like, high maintenance. I think she would think that's cool too, so, like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how April feels about this, but I thought that that was kind of a good idea for a pairing. The based on who's left, not to move too far forward, at the end of episode 5, I would say what Joan is looking for is just a guy.
Yeah.
Not to be derogatory. But just like she's not looking like because I'm like, oh my gosh, like Jonathan is like amazing, empathetic, like a freaking model. He's just like a gorgeous inside and out person. Um, but again, well, I mean, I don't know. I'm baffled. We just do have to skip to this, I guess, because I was like, "Oh my god," like, some of my favorites are gone because like,
Yeah,
Keith was gone and Jonathan was gone in one fell swoop, and I mean, Keith is also just a guy. I mean, he's like, girl dad, like, such a dad. I don't know. You know what I mean? Such a stereotypical dad, and I really thought that that's kind of the guy she was looking for. I was like, Keith seems like the archetype of the type of guy that Joan's looking for. So when he left, I was like, oh gosh, this doesn't make sense. But then Jonathan left at the same time. So it is interesting because she's kind of got a mix. I would put like Pascal more like in the Jonathan category and then like Chalk, more in like the Keith category. You know what I'm saying? Like
sure.
out of some of the guys who are left. I mean, Guy is also not just a guy. Um,
Hmm.
we also have to talk about Guy because shit came out about him too. So like
Oh,
not
eventually we
great.
knew it was going to happen.
I guess you should have trusted your instincts on Guy, because
Oh,
yeah, it's
okay.
it's not looking good. Because there
I,
was
I
another,
still I
like,
still support
stalking thing.
his bromance with Captain Lee when no one would sing
Yeah,
with Captain Lee.
listen, we stand Kim in this on this podcast, but yeah, I don't that was weird. Whatever happened with him, it sounds like very similar to what was going on with, oh my gosh, I'm completely blanking right now because I blocked him out of my mind so much because I was so excited about him, and then
Oh, your West Coast academic turned
yeah,
guy, like
what's his name?
being
Oh my gosh,
weird.
I'm forgetting. Anyway, yeah, so I'm glad I just blocked him out completely because my brain's just going,
Gil.
"Nope, Gil." I was like, "It's another G name, but it's not Guy." Yeah, Gil. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I think well, gosh, okay, now we're skipping all over the place, but, um and it's my fault. But so, let's just talk about the end of episode 5. We'll just mix these 2 together because I think we
Mix it
have to.
together. It's okay.
We've got Pascal, we've got Chalk, we've got Guy, and we've got Jordan. And I would say like Chalk and Jordan are like just a guy, and Pascal
Hmm.
and Guy are like fancier. You know what I mean? That's all I'm
Hmm.
saying. And there's nothing wrong with just a guy either.
Oh, nothing wrong with
um,
being just a guy, just a
yeah,
dude.
but I feel like that's like her late husband. To me, the way she talks about him seems a lot more like Chalk or Jordan and
Hmm.
less like Pascal or Guy. And so what I'm trying to figure out is, does she want to move in that direction or does she want something completely different? Um the only person out of the final 4 that I really think she has like very clear chemistry with is Chalk. So I'm just kind of like, I don't really see this turning out any other way.
Yeah,
But I don't
yeah.
know. Like, and that's the thing, because I thought when I talked about Final 4, I had Keith in there, I had Jonathan in there, and I think I had Mark in there, and maybe it was Chalk. I can't remember the 4th one that I had put in there. But I know that those 3 were in my Final 4. And now that 3 of them are gone, it's like, what the heck? I don't know. How are you feeling about everything?
It's I don't know. It's been weird because I think especially when you get into the latest episode and you're getting the just the arc of the whole episode, which is here's a guy who on paper is good but actually isn't a fit. And this is a classic Bachelor
Yeah.
episode. It's just like we all know as the audience this guy's cooked, right? Like he's done. And we're watching him just kind of slowly crumble, and there's that little bit of sadness. And then the B plot is Keith's anxiety about where his position is and how he thinks he's on good
Mhm.
footing, but maybe he isn't. And then really like that's it. That's the whole thrust of the narrative, right? And then the twist, because you got to have a twist, is who we, the audience, believe is the front runner is suddenly gone. So it kind of throws everything into disarray. But I would agree with you that just watching this, guys that have flown under the radar or maybe have been slow to start are the ones that Joan seems to be keeping around more. Because if you look at these guys, you've got Jordan, who was just an anxious mess. You've got Chalk, who came out of nowhere. Pascal's been pretty strong, but I don't think he's ever been positioned as someone that we should take seriously.
Mhm.
And then you've got Guy, who his entire thing was, isn't it crazy how handsome I am? That's wild. Look at me, the most handsome man you've ever seen. Also, I'm a doctor. Did I mention I'm a doctor? And then all of a sudden we get this nice undercurrent. It's like, oh, maybe there's some substance here because of his whole thing with Captain Kim. But what I'm learning is the typical bachelorette rules are not necessarily following through to completion here. Like, I don't know if like these front runners are, if we're ever in a position of strength. So it's cool to fly under the radar with Joan, which now I'm looking at who's left and I'm like, well, I mean, who's going to win? I guess Jordan will win because he's the one I have the least amount of confidence in winning. So therefore, it makes the most sense.
Yeah, that would be weird, I think. I mean, I
Yeah,
could
what's the
see it.
least likely scenario? And that's
Yeah.
what I'm voting for.
I could see it. I think the least likely scenario at this point is Pascal, but that's just me. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
would
that's the
agree.
least likely thing to
I
happen.
cannot conceive
Yeah.
of that, right? But he's always been right up there. But I
Yeah.
understand why. It's because he's a good time and he's funny and he's got a French accent and he's a handsome man. So yeah, French, funny, handsome. Like what else do you want in a guy? But
Yeah,
I
I
also
think
like
he's, like, a great dude. I just don't think he's, like, the right fit for Joan. I don't think it
exactly.
makes sense. Yeah, like, I
Yeah.
think he's really good TV, he's really fun, I'm sure he's a great guy, like
Hmm.
but yeah, I just don't see it meshing, and also, like, out of all the men, the only person who's left who's making any kind of an effort is Chalk. Literally no other man is making that level of effort.
Hmm.
So, and it's like, I thought Keith and Mark were pretty strong front runners. And I thought they were also making decent effort. They were at least, like they were trying to do
Hmm.
special things. They were, Keith was trying to like smooth out an awkward conversation that he had in episode 4. Like, and it still like wasn't enough because like there just wasn't something there for Joan.
Hmm.
But I mean, gosh, and I hate to say it, but I also wonder if she ends up with anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, and maybe they had, Gary come on here to like do some kind of foreshadowing,
Yeah.
like I
Hey
don't know.
Joan, maybe it won't work out, but
He's like, "Do you think your man is here in this room?" Um
If it doesn't work out though, feel free to call me on my home landline phone.
anyway, so I mean, I hope she ends up with somebody because she's so sweet and great. But
Yeah.
I'm a little worried at this point in the game about it.
Mhm.
Which
Are you ready
producers also thank
for
you.
are you ready for Golden Bachelor season 2 starring Jonathan when he drops the teaser line after he goes home? Maybe my journey is just beginning. Are you kidding me? Like
Well,
they're setting
okay.
this up for you.
Well, all right. Well, I hope, I wish, I dream. But here's the thing, okay? There's a lot of conversation, and this is kind of what I had said in the intro. There's a lot of conversation about how people think Mark was a producer plant who they're trying to give the Golden Bachelor edit to, and that he was
Oh,
never going to
yeah.
go anywhere, and that he is the Golden Bachelor. Also, there's been a lot of talk on TikTok because we haven't recorded in a while. I'm like, I'm trying not to be influenced, but I'm like seeing all these
Yeah.
where people are talking about, like, God, what is it with all these men and like birds and their dead spouses?
Yeah, well, I mean, of
you
course,
know?
I guess
Yeah.
it's like the whole show is like producer plan is such a weird, but I understand what you're
Because
saying. But like in the sense that
yeah.
like he's
'Cause it's
got the
like they
familial
all are
ties.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they're all plants. I mean,
Hmm.
it's like they've all been chosen for the show, but people are saying, like, he never was supposed to make it that far, but they've had to make it that far because they want
Yeah.
him to be the Golden Bachelor. Maybe, it's hard to say,
Hmm.
but I would
It is hard to
say
say, but does he have the personality? Can he carry a show? Because I'm not seeing that from him. He seems
I
like
just yeah,
warm and nice.
yeah. I mean, I think, if I'm really dreaming, Charles would be the Golden Bachelor, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. But
That's
I
never
mean,
gonna happen.
if I'm dreaming, okay, but I think Jonathan is just like naturally like the best possible choice. Like after
Hmm.
he went home week 5, I'm like, okay, so just let Jonathan be the Golden Bachelor and make a good choice
Sets
here.
itself up. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
should
mean,
be
he's got
easy.
like I said, he's got lore. I said that week 1, everybody.
Mhm.
Remember. He's got a backstory. He's like an interesting guy. He's like really like sweet, thoughtful. He's good looking, like he's successful. Like I don't know what more you're looking for. Like he's got it. So just
Yeah.
make him the Golden Bachelor. It just makes perfect sense to me. And if they pick Mark, like then we know. Then we
Mhm.
know because I don't think I mean, I don't know. A lot of people like Mark on TikTok and stuff. And I know you and I have both been pretty hesitant about it. I think he's
Yeah.
fine. I think he's
Yeah, it's like, "What, do you
fine.
like a cheese pizza?" I'm not gonna say no, but there's better things out here for me. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, there's just people that I think are better TV. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see what shakes out. I'm still holding on hope for a Golden Bachelor cruise.
That's
And
what
we
we
can see
need.
everybody, like that
Yeah,
would
take
be
these boys to Bermuda, make it happen, bring back Charles, like, come on.
that would be great. Yeah. We need, and I, we've, I feel like we've been so blessed by these shows, like to have this great group of women that came from the Golden Bachelor and now a great group of men from the Golden Bachelorette. Like it would be a crime to not let us watch them more and watch them interact with each other. Like, oh man, that sounds like a delight. Um Another thing that is like such a delight right now that I've been really enjoying and has been taking up a lot of my scrolling time is Jen on Dancing with the Stars. I don't know if you've been following any of it. I mean, Joey's there too. Joey's
Mm,
there too. But
okay.
Jen on Dancing with the Stars, her whole like relationship with her dance partner has been like really sweet to watch. Have you watched any of this or is this all like
No,
outside of your realm?
I tuned out after week 1 when Anna Delvey was, eliminated, so
Was it week 1 that she was eliminated?
Oh,
I
no,
thought it
because
was like
nobody
a
no, wait,
couple
nobody
weeks
was
in.
eliminated in week 1, and then week 2, she went home, and I felt really bad for her dancing partner because they were like, "How do you feel?" And she's like, "I don't care," because she's Anna
Well, no,
Delvey, like, she can't
they
care.
asked her, "Are you gonna take anything away from this experience? Or what are you gonna take away from this
Yeah.
experience?" And she answered, "Nothing."
Yeah, it
She
was
said,
great.
"Nothing." And so he got that tattooed on him. He got
Mhm.
the word "nothing" tattooed on him, which is pretty amazing.
It's good stuff.
But anyone, like, who wants to watch Jen absolutely thrive. I mean, this is I'm not a big Dancing with the Stars person, but I'll, like, watch clips when there's people I like on it and whatever, you know?
Mhm.
And Jen and Sasha, like, their relationship is so cute, like, so wholesome, so sweet, and, like, like Joey's great. Joey and Jenna are great. Jenna is a great person to have as a partner. Like she like this is when I thought JoJo Siwa like was not going to be cringe forever. Was when she was on Dancing with the Stars with Jenna. She like did so amazing. It's like anyway, I'm not going to rant about JoJo Siwa right now. I mean, I could. She frustrates me so much, but I won't. I won't go
She's my
there.
dream guest for this podcast, that's
Dream guest for my podcast. Yeah, I mean, she has so much potential and then she just like does weird shit and then I'm just like, "Why?" Like, you're a actually good dancer and like
yeah.
and then you do
That's
that
the fun
stuff
thing
that
about
I'm
her.
like, "Are you gonna give yourself whiplash, like, by dancing? Like, what is going on?" Anyway, okay, I
Yeah.
don't
No,
wanna rant about that, I really
I
don't.
think she's amazing too because it's like you have actual talent and you choose to emphasize things that are not that talent, and also you kinda spent, like, 3 or 4 months of your life dressing like you shop at Harbor Freight for your clothes, which is cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm
Well,
down with it.
and her current girlfriend is, like, a choreographer and extremely talented, and
Mhm.
the dances that like, JoJo's been doing that her girlfriend has choreographed are incredible, and everyone's like, "Why don't you do this all the time? This is what
No.
we want." Oh my god, I got so
Do the
mad.
weird stuff.
Hold on, I got so mad, I just, like, spilled the Topo Chico.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just trying to make
JoJo
sure my
Siwa is causing
electronic
you to stain your carpet.
well, it's Topo Chico, it's clear, but it's on electronics, so I wanna make sure we don't have, like, a
Mhm.
fire hazard or whatever.
That'd be fun. Yeah,
Um,
JoJo Siwa burns your home down.
Yeah, all my stuff is now, well, I shouldn't have this many beverages on my desk. It's my fault. Well, I'm building a bigger desk, so then I can have more beverages on it. But anyway, so, no, this season of Dancing with the Stars that I've seen from clips, I've literally not watched a full episode because, Jen and Sasha provide enough content on TikTok that I'm like, "I'm getting my fill." But they have, like, such like, you can tell, like, people are saying, like, they have such a healing relationship, like, they're so good for each other, and, like, their relationship, whatever it is, has been, like, just really kind and sweet, and they spend a lot of time together outside of, like, the dancing and everything. They go get pizza together and blah, 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 and so cute, and, but it's very sweet. Jen is thriving, good for her, like, she deserves it. But it really is kind of the season for, like, cute friendships because that
Mhm.
gymnast, oh my gosh, I'm like I mean, I know his name is also Steven, but what's his full name? Do you know who I'm talking about? Um, um, Nedorosik? Is that
Sure.
how I pronounce it?
I have
Close,
no idea.
maybe?
You're asking the wrong guy here, but
Okay,
I
anyway,
believe you.
with his partner Riley Arnold, they're so cute too. He was like the gymnast, the one with like glasses who's you're like he's just happy to be here, but he's also actually incredibly
Oh, yeah, yeah,
talented,
yeah, that
amazing.
guy.
Yeah, and he's like so sweet and so earnest. So he's been doing great. And then we've got like Alana Mar and like, her partner. And so it's just been like it's a good set of people and a lot of really cute friendships. And then
That's
also
nice.
this like one couple that is like they were definitely, like not this, like this.
Uh-oh.
They were
Confirmed boinking?
definitely they were d I mean, they said no, but then I don't believe it.
Some are saying that's the
Allegedly,
ultimate dance.
yeah. So anyway, that was a whole thing, but now they're off the show, which some of the other contestants are upset about because they were like making fun of them canoodling.
Mm.
So like now the comedy is gone. So anyway, um that's a whole side quest, but go check out the clips if you want to watch Jen just like living her best life. And Jonathan is still doing the dress list. He's still ranking all the dresses. So that's still going on. And you froze, so I'm gonna keep talking until you come back. But you can find those on TikTok. He's still doing like every week he's like, "This is the best dress. This is the thing that I like the most," and this is the one that's still climbing the charts. I think the green men tell all dress is still the one that is number one. So that is pretty cool. It's recording. Well, we're gonna just keep going and see what happens here, and we might have to do some creative editing later. Um, okay, you're back.
I'm
Um,
back. Was I ever really gone? Think about it like
think
that.
about it like that. Well, we'll see what happens in post. But what I was saying is Jonathan is still doing the dress recaps and all of that stuff. His ranking, so you can still find those on TikTok. And Jonathan and Jen still insist they're just friends. No funny business, strictly platonic. I don't know. We'll see. But I just wanted to do a quick little outside Bachelor Nation update of things that I know about. And Joey's doing great. Joey might win Dancing with the Stars. He's like kicking all the
Really?
ass. Yeah. I'm talking about
That's
Jen
weird.
because she's got like, this beautiful, you know, thing going on. Like she's flourishing,
Mhm.
whatever. But like Joey is like legitimately incredibly talented. And a lot of people are like, could be him at the end. So
Huh.
I mean, he's like an athlete. I mean, but the thing is there's a lot of athletes on the show this season. So, it's kind of awesome that he's like kicking so much ass. So, good for you,
Good for
Joey.
him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing great. Anyway, so let's see. Yeah, so okay. I don't think I have a lot of updates after the striptease date. It was cute. Gary grabbed his phone and had his kids say like or said happy birthday to his kid with Joan. That was adorable. Um and then yeah, Chalk gets the rose on this date. And oh, and then yeah, so this was like really sad cuz like I was like okay, so this is kind of why another reason I think Chalk is endgame, right? Because like his
Mhm.
mom passes and he's like, I gotta go. And I'm like, well, now who is it gonna be? Because I thought maybe it was gonna be him. So
Yeah.
what's gonna happen? And then we get into like this Jordan date, which again, like, he's not fighting the awkward accusations anytime soon because they're like, "Let's go ice skating."
No.
He's like, "I'm gonna fall about 50 times." And I'm like,
Yeah, and the
"You
first
better
time
have
he
good
falls,
insurance."
oh my god, like,
Yeah.
immediately, I'm like, he just, like, shattered his tailbone. There's no way.
I know, I'm like, "Why are we having these seniors go ice skating who don't know how to ice skate?" Like, if you knew how to ice skate, that's
Yeah,
one thing, but if you don't, that seems a little scary.
not good.
Yeah. But it was a good date for Jordan overall. He gets to open up. He talks about getting cheated on and how hard it was, but he was really trying to focus on the kids and make them comfortable. And then we see REO Speedwagon comes on, the surviving members of REO
This
Speedwagon.
is
Little
so
bleak. Yeah.
bizarre, by the way, and bleak,
Yeah.
yeah. REO Speedwagon is my favorite kind of classic rock band now, where it's just like, yeah, I'm going to see Journey. It's like, are you seeing Journey? Are you seeing like the
Remnants of
guy who was
Journey.
the third bass player and like six of his friends? Like,
Yeah.
it's not really what you think it is. But the other thing that's weird is, and I really tuned into that in the last couple weeks, but just how cheap the production on this is.
Mm.
Like, they're not taking big trips. All of the dates are like, okay, guys, we're going bowling. Like, I feel like this entire season was funded with like the average American paycheck. Like, that was their budget. It's like you got 40K to just do this thing
Yeah.
the whole season.
I mean, I feel like it was similar for the Golden Bachelor, though. Like, we are getting longer episodes. Instead of an hour, we're getting an hour and a half, but they didn't really do any major travel. A lot of the dates were like, we're going to a diner. And like, they had
Yeah.
one shopping date, like, she had a shopping date with Pascal. Like, I think they did a vineyard and they did that in episode 5. Like, uh, it's like, yeah, helicopters and whatever. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't feel like they did anything like that extravagant, but I do think they
Sure.
deserve it.
Oh yeah, they certainly deserve
Yeah.
it. But this is like, I think that the original Golden Bachelor was an inexpensive production comparatively, which makes sense because you're kind of
You're
it's
testing
like
it
a test
out.
balloon
Yeah,
here.
you don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
if it's gonna be good.
But that being said, I didn't notice it as much. Like, it was inherent in the fact that they weren't going to exotic places every other week. But when they're, oh god, am I cutting out? What's going on? Oh my god, are you there?
Yeah, I'm
Hello.
here.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know if I was cutting out. I keep getting like weird pop-ups like, "Hey, your stuff's
Yeah,
busted.
you
It's all
keep
your
going
fault."
offline.
Story of my life. I should stay offline, honestly.
Touch grass.
Anyways, go somewhere else. But this season of The Golden Bachelorette is where I really start to notice it, where it's like you can see the seams basically. And this date, I was just like, "Oh my god, they couldn't even get an ice skating rink. They're on like a sound stage in Burbank and they just put like fake
It's like
ice on
the
the ground."
plastic ice, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then presenting 2 out of 5 guys from REO Speedwagon. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, it was a little sad.
Little Wisconsin State Fair.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's like, we even have, an Olympic ice skating rink, in
Yeah,
Milwaukee, so
just
that I've
saying.
that
Yeah.
I've skated on lots of times, okay?
Wow. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
you
You're
haven't
like
been to the
Nancy
Pettit?
Kerrigan.
Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, the dudes are at the pool hanging out. Mark is calling Kelsey and Joey and talking about having fun. Oh, yeah. So, like, yeah, so afterwards that we have this, like, moment at the pool and whatever, and then, let's see. Yeah, guy talks about being married for 34 years. The youngest went away. He thought he had a good marriage, but they didn't have open and honest communication. And he just thinks they spent 30 years trying not to hurt each other's feelings. But yeah, there's some, like, I don't know everything about the guy accusations. I don't know. Like, I should Google it really quick.
I
Um,
did. I did Google it. As soon as you said,
okay.
I was like, what
Oh,
did guy
you
do?
hadn't heard about, I thought I sent it to you.
No, I don't
Okay,
think you
maybe I
did. Or
didn't
if you
send it
did,
to
I
you. I
didn't
thought I sent it to
see
you
it or
like last
didn't
week.
read the whole article. Um, so what I gather from it is the document's sealed, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's like she filed a temporary restraining order against him, and the judge said no, and then she rescinded the submission of the restraining order. But we don't know what's in it, and she hasn't said anything, and he didn't say anything other than nothing.
Yeah.
PR speak.
Yeah, I don't think it was anywhere near what's up with Gil, but I was just like, "Oh my god, of course there's another thing." And now it could have just been like a really tense moment in like a contentious divorce where, some legal counsel said, "I think you should do this for this reason," or whatever, like who knows?
Sure.
There's We
Sure.
don't know. But I was just like, well, I don't want to talk about Guy anymore either then, but who knows? Maybe that it doesn't seem like it's anywhere on the realm of like the Gill accusations, like anywhere near
Yeah,
that, or
or
like
like burning the
anything that
restraining
Devin
order in a
did.
driveway.
Yeah. Yeah, like Devin doing the setting it on fire and whatever. Like
Mhm.
it's, I don't think he's as trash as that. So I will be nice about it, but why they're not, checking people beforehand is like kind of beyond me because I think it would be pretty easy to just find people who had no records like that and just let
Mhm.
them be on the show. Just
Yeah.
just advice for the future. But yeah, so Joan's mom was also like not doing well like in the previous week and stuff and then turns out she was doing a lot better and she's like, "Hey, thanks for sticking around and showing up for me and all of that." Um
Mhm.
Pascal pulls Joan aside and starts talking about how he wants to jump in on group dates, but he just gets nervous about it. And like, I do think he is the type of person who has like a persona that you would think he commands attention, but he doesn't actually like, but he's like shy. Like, I don't know. I get it. Can relate, Pascal. Because Chuck will always be like, "You seem like the most outgoing person ever until we get to a farmer's market. And then you're like, can you go talk to them for me?" And I'm like, "I'm shy. I don't know. I get shy. I just don't know what to say." So like, like I went and bought art a few months ago from this artist that I'm now mutuals with on TikTok and I think they're like an incredible person and whatever. But I was so scared to talk to them and I'm like about to like blow like, good chunk of money, we'll say, on a really nice painting. And I was like scared. It's like I'm scared to say something. Like, you know, and he was like, "Before you give this person a bunch of money for art you like, you should probably go talk to them." And I'm like, "Okay, okay." And I get so shy. So like I get it. Like especially like a group situation where there's like other people who are trying to like pull attention and stuff, like in party
Mhm.
situations or whatever. I do not like trying to jump in. That makes me very uncomfortable. So I don't know. I get it. I can relate to Pascal, but that's not what this show is. Okay. So you got
No,
to get
it's
in there.
not. And I feel for Pascal too, but on the other hand, I would also never put a bowling shirt directly over a polo. So sorry, Pascal, but giving you an L this week.
Well, anyway, it wasn't his fault. So
Literally an entire like portion of the narrative for the show is Joan going, and I couldn't wait to see how upset Pascal would be with what he had to wear.
yeah, and he was like, "What is this?" So
What is this?
so anyway, but we're on week 4 right now, a little bit. Keith had like a weird bad date moment where she asked him a question and he just short circuited, so that wasn't great. And then Chalk comes back, and he's like, and it wasn't like fully described, but it basically was like everything's taken care of for now, so like I'm gonna stay here. And I'm like, there's no way if your like parent passed away and you're coming back, like
Yeah.
I can't imagine that would happen unless like producers were like, "You're the one, okay? You're the one. So
Hmm.
just like hang out for another couple of weeks, and then you can go like take care of the stuff you need to take care of." And he's like, "Okay, I can manage that. I can manage that." I don't know. That's just my thought because why the hell
Yeah.
would he come back? It just seems baffling to
I
me.
wouldn't.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't. So I'm just like, that has to mean something. Um, and they have like a moment. Joan starts talking about, wearing her old ring, and kind of like, are you comfortable with that? And like, honestly, I mean, I'd do the same thing. And anyone who thinks that's weird, I think sucks. So obviously he thinks that's fine. And he's talking to her about letting his armor down and he's afraid of getting hurt, but he's there for Joan and he wants to open up more to her and he's crazy about her. And this is when I wrote the note. So is he the one? I mean, he's got to be the one, right? Um, and this is when I noticed that the episodes were 90 minutes long. I was like, wait, what? Because I've been watching him on demand, and I watched this one live, and I was like, wait a minute. So in this first week, in week 4, Gil got cut, and I just like did not want to see him anymore. So I was like, bye. But then Gary, Dan, and Charles leave, and the world is crying.
Mhm. Oh my God.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. It
It's
was
like over.
so sad. And then Gary was like, Joan made me feel like I mattered. Oh my God. And then,
Oh, yeah.
Gary made me cry a lot.
Everybody is just happy to be here. They're
Yeah.
like, you know what? It's just I met a bunch of my boys. We're best friends. I just want to live in a house together. Like if you got cut from this season, like boys, let's pool the resources. Let's get those, automatic just distributions from your IRAs or whatever you do, and then you pool them together. You buy a nice house, and it's just guys being dudes in their 60s.
I
Make it
mean,
happen.
yeah, some of them are too young for required minimum distributions.
I don't actually know anything about finances.
Actually,
I just know it's something that retired people do.
the age is
Well,
also
the age
increasing.
for retired minimal distributions is actually 72.5, Steve.
That's pretty good.
Is that actually true?
I think it is 72 and a half. Well, it depends on the year in which you were born. And it is going up. And I believe it's going. I'm not an accountant. I am not a tax expert. Please consult the IRS. Uh, I think it's increasing to, gosh, now I can't remember if it's 73 or 75, but it's going up with like life expectancies going up. But I mean,
Okay.
you can take distributions before that, but you aren't required to take a minimum distribution until you hit that age. Anyway,
Okay.
this is my
I'm just
other
happy
life.
that I'm just happy that my nerd impersonation of you was like even more accurate than I assumed. So good.
Yeah, because it's like 72, but then it's like, 73 if you reach 72 after a certain date, but then it's gonna be 75 starting in 2033. So, yeah, which won't apply to them, obviously, but it would apply to, well, it'll probably be, we're never gonna get any, well, required minimum distributions, that's actually like a good, you don't wanna have to take those, so anyway. I'm not an accountant. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. So, uh, I never thought I would talk about required minimum distributions on the podcast. So
That's like the first old guy thing that
it's
came to my
really
brain. I'm sorry.
interesting.
That's
It's really interesting. But yeah, but cut the kids out of your estate, and
yeah.
you're gonna
Start
do
living for
something else.
you,
Yeah, you're
dog.
gonna do something else
Keith,
now.
what daughters, Keith?
Yeah,
It's time to not stop being a girl
yeah,
dad
girl
and
dad.
be a Keith dad.
Yeah.
Take care of your number one kid. It's your inner child, Keith.
Yeah, Keith does seem like someone who has worked really hard to connect with his inner child, though, so good for him, honestly. I think
Yeah.
he's been through a lot, and, I just only wish the best for him, but we'll talk about him more in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I said bye to Gil, and I said, "Fuck you," but with Gary, I was like, "Oh my god," and then he, like, whispered to Joan, "You're awesome," and I was like, "You're awesome, shut up," And then,
Yeah.
and yeah, Dan's gone. Sorry, Dan, I liked you, we didn't get to see you enough, but you seem like a really nice, normal guy, sorry. Charles, it was the saddest day, and he said, "Oh, they're all gorgeous people, and they're all crying and hugging." And then he said, like, "It's a different form of love," and I did find it.
It's too wholesome.
I just,
I can't
I
handle
just
it.
love Charles. I just love Charles. He's so good. What a good person. And then,
Yeah,
yeah,
guys, you could all be my dad. If anybody wants to be my dad, you guys, yeah,
they're
that's
all in the running.
you're all in the running. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. And then, okay, then we open up the new episode with Pascal steaming his clothes, and of course, and then Joan has like a chat with Trista, and Trista's basically like, "Don't get too analytical, don't get too in your head, open up to these men. I wish I had done it for Ryan because he was confused and didn't know where he stood, and I should have told him sooner." Which is interesting because I didn't think Ryan was going to win when I watched that season. I didn't think so at all. So she hid it from the audience as well.
Justified.
I had no
Yeah.
idea. I was shocked. And I was like, "Really? Ryan? Okay." Because I liked the other guy, but I don't even remember the other guy's name anymore. So
Oh,
obviously
yeah, other guy
yeah,
who.
other guy, who cares about that guy? So yeah, she's not gonna give out roses until the rose ceremony. So these men are going on one-on-one dates, and it is not a guarantee of safety in any way, and we see that very clearly. Um,
Mhm.
So Keith gets the first one-on-one. He's like, I'm going to get to redeem myself. And they go on this helicopter date, and the men are getting jealous because he's in a helicopter and they're going to a
But
vineyard.
dad moment of the week.
What?
The guys at the house are sitting in the pool and they see a helicopter over. They go, I bet that's them. And then everybody waves, and then Joan and Keith wave back down.
Yeah, that's cute. Well, I mean, they do that on like The Bachelor too. Like,
I know,
it's
but it's
not
just like
just
it's
on
it's
The
more
Golden
wholesome with
Bachelor.
them.
Oh, are you back?
I'm back. Was I ever really gone? Were
No,
you gone? Who knows?
I think it was you. But anyway,
I don't know what's going on the internet. I
it's
apparently
fine.
I've reverted back to dial up, which is
It's gonna
cool.
be an
I'm into
interesting
retro
one.
stuff.
Oh, there he goes. This will be an interesting episode, friends. We're just gonna make it through. So anyway, they have the helicopter date. The men are starting to get jealous, and Chalk is like, "I do not want this to happen. I do not want this to happen because she is my girl." But Keith is like, "I'm not even on cloud 9. I'm on cloud 11.
Wow.
So
Nobody
it's
even knew about that
two
cloud.
more. It's two more." And then they have like these two, like, like vineyard lovers, and they've been together for 32 years. And they're talking about this date. And like, I don't think they've ever seen The Bachelor or anything like that at all. Cause Joan's like, yeah, so like I gave him the first impression rose, and they're just looking like, don't know what the fuck that is, but okay, I'm just gonna drink this wine. But yeah, it was interesting. They've been together for 32 years. Joan was with her husband for 32 years, so it like struck a chord. She got emotional, of course. And she was like, I could have been them. Like, this kind of thing comes and goes, and like grief is fucked up, and all that stuff. Then we cut to Mark being sad and introspective by the pool, and he's like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And then he sees a hummingbird, and then he's like, it's my wife. I'm doing the right thing. And so, he's got hummingbirds, Joan's got hawks, but we see that that's not going to be enough. We'll get there later. Um, then Keith is telling Joan on his date that like they haven't talked to like his ex-wife, like him or his daughters haven't talked to his ex-wife in like 10 to 12 years, which is really tough, but fair, because of addiction and all that stuff. And he gets the validation he needs, but is it enough? Spoiler alert, no. um we go on a group date. It's bowling, and we find out Mark is going to get the one-on-one date finally, because he's like the last person to get a one-on-one date at all. So of course it has to go to him, because if it didn't, that would be rude. um
Yeah. Also, just as a side note, love the little subtle evil producer moves here, because Mark and Keith are the two men who desperately need to communicate their true feelings and receive validation in return. So Keith gets a super loud ass helicopter and Mark gets a loud ass boat. And neither man can really achieve anything here. So it's good.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it that way, at all. That wasn't anything that I hadn't thought about, the noise level and them not being able to get, like, that validation. That's funny. And then but also we can't have, like, a golden bachelorette season without bowling, I don't think, because like, what is a better old man activity than bowling? It's the perfect old
Pickleball.
man activity. Well, we already did that, Well, we did
Yeah,
that in the
ready to do
other
that. That's
one,
true.
so
Yeah.
we need bowling. And,
Hmm.
yeah, and Jordan, like, most of them struck me as bowlers, like, when Jonathan was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I've bowled." I'm like, "Yeah, you're from Iowa. You've definitely bowled." And,
Hmm.
Jordan's, like, good at bowling. And then, like, Chalk comes out with the whole, "Who do you think you are? I am." Like, he's very much, like, giving that energy. Do you know what I'm talking about, or am
Hmm.
I just saying something weird?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank
No,
you.
I know what you said.
I was like, "That's such a specific reference." I don't know.
Yeah.
I
And I
I
also
count
agree with
on
you
you
too
to know
that
that.
if you live in Iowa, there's actually only like 3 activities you can do, and
Yeah.
one of the activities is corn, and the other one is drive to another place, and then there's bowling.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
you know,
I'm from the
it's good.
state that is, the world has the world headquarters for bowling. So like, yeah. Yeah, my parents were in a league when I was growing up. I learned how to score when I was like really little. And and we've got the world headquarters, like, not I think it's still there. Not far from where I went to school. So And then Jonathan's like, "Yeah, my mom did this thing called bowling for dollars, and she like competed and had like pins and stuff like that." And I was like, "That's adorable." And then he showed like pictures of his mom and his kids and like him when he was younger, and that was really sweet. And all of the men who are pouring out their hearts on this episode are all going home. What the fuck?
Love it.
Yeah. Joan is like, "I'm ready to be happy and selfish in like a good way." And Chalk is like, "Listen, it's us. I'm just telling you right now, Joan, it's us." And she's like, "Okay." And he's like, "Okay, cool. We're in agreement. I'll just ride out the rest of the show, but it's us." And then we get to the one-on-one with Mark, and she's like, "Let's explore the connection. We haven't gotten there yet. And things are figuratively and literally chilly on this boat." And then they're like, "Well, let's play a game of never have I ever." And things get a little bit better. And it seems like the date goes well. And then it kind of ends abruptly, and we get to like the next day, and all the men are talking, and Mark's like, "Yeah, I think the date went pretty well. It was pretty good." And then Joan's like, "Hi, can I talk to Mark really quick?" I don't see it. I thought I did. On paper, it's good. The chemistry is lacking severely, and it's just like, I don't think it's going to get there, and you deserve better,
Yeah.
and you're great, and I'm sorry.
I forget her exact words, and they were like, just cut right to the core of things, but not in
Yeah.
like a jerk way, right? She was just like, "Yeah, so you're great, but like I do not foresee a future where you and me are a thing. So go
Yeah.
be great with someone else."
Yeah, she said something like, she's like, "You seem so healed and you're on this journey, but when you talk about your future, I don't see me in those words." I think that's what she said.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
which is very articulate and just beautiful. That's a nice way to get
Joan.
dumped.
It's Joan. She's like a
Yeah.
classy lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but yeah, I think he got like a very good Golden Bachelor edit. But then yeah, we get to the rose ceremony, and we get, Pascal, Chalk, Guy, and Jordan are the final four who will be going on to hometowns. And then, we get a really good moment with Jonathan at the end as well. So I, yeah, I mean, the good thing is there's a lot of good men they could pick from to be the Golden Bachelor. Like, there's a lot of good choices, but I think Jonathan is the best one.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
love Charles. I love Charles, but I still think Jonathan is the best Golden Bachelor choice. So if they
Mhm.
pick Mark, I'm not gonna like it. Not gonna like it. I'll be fine
Yeah.
with it. I'll deal with it. But yeah, I just don't think he's got as much, I don't know, like complexity and depth, at least that we haven't been able to see. That would,
Yeah.
but they are shorter episodes, so I guess you could make an argument that you don't
Yeah,
need as
much
much.
much like Joan, when people talk about him as the future Golden Bachelor, I don't see myself in that. Like I can't get on that page. So
I just don't see
doesn't work for
myself
me.
in that story. I
Yeah.
think he's probably, I mean, he's got enough to go on. They obviously are trying to make it happen. But yeah, I think the only solution, because we have so many great choices on both sides of things now, is to have Golden Bachelor in Paradise. That's the only option. That's the only thing you can possibly do. So I'm really hoping they do something like that. And yeah, it could either be like an all inclusive resort, or it could be like a cruise ship. But either way, I think it would be really fun. And you know, yeah, I mean, like, listen, I just feel like a big hole in my heart ever since the 9-month cruise ended. So I need something. I need something. Oh gosh, like, what if they did it like, okay, I'm not a Big Brother person, and I know people who are like Big Brother people are like, they watch like the live feeds and like, they get pretty
Oh my
intense with
God.
it. But can you imagine if this was shot like on a cruise ship and it was like Big Brother? Just imagine that. Just imagine.
I
Wow.
I think it would genuinely ruin some people's lives. Like people who do what we do, but like at a far more serious, devoted pace. And they would just be watching it 24/7, slamming Red Bull and not sleeping, and then doing deep dives into things that are, it's like, did you see the way so and so scratched his butt? I think blah blah blah. Based on this, he probably has a rare skin disease. And then we're all like that would happen unequivocally. Like
Yeah, we don't want to go that far. I was just joking. It was a joke.
But I could see it happening. That's
Yeah.
the thing. And it's just like I would enjoy it because it would be funny to just like watch these guys like shoot the shit. But then I'm like, I'm able to step away, and there's a lot of people who cannot step away.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I sometimes fall into the category of not being able to step away. So we don't want to enable that. That would
No,
be
we don't want to
bad.
enable Sammy.
It's be bad. Okay, like I was like scrolling through my TikTok as I do. And I am a big fan of Celebrity Memoir Book Club. I don't know if you've listened to any of their stuff, but they're incredible. So fun. They'll read like a memoir in a week and put this like really detailed podcast together, and they take it very seriously. And they have pretty good takes. I think I agree with them like 95 to 99% of the time. And so I like listening to, I'm like, all right, what's their take on this? Or how do they feel about this person? Or what was their, if they like a memoir, there's chances that I'll like it, all that stuff. And it also exempts me from having to always read these memoirs. I can just like listen to them talk about it, and then I usually go back and go, do I want to listen to this or watch or read this or whatever? But they were talking about, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna forget her name. I think it's Aspen Ogard or something like Ovard, Aspen Ovard. And I didn't know a single thing about this person, like at all, zero. And for some reason, like things are like popping off on TikTok, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we just went on a deep dive. I knew nothing about her, and now I find out she's got like a Reddit snark page and all this stuff." And it turns out that like there potentially, this is a theory. This is not, you know, that potentially her like ex-husband's mother was like the person who put that snark page together, possibly. And I was like, "Whoa." And so like I commented on their post, and I was like, "How many business days would it take for me to catch up?" And
Yeah.
understand, because I'm like, I literally don't know who this person is. I don't know anything about like why they would be controversial, why they would have a snark page, like any of that, nothing, zero. And
Hmm.
someone said probably like 2 to 3 business days, and I'm like, that's doable. That's doable. Maybe I'll do it. And then I'm like, why? What's the point? I can just not know about this person and move on with my life. But I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I need to know what's the niche, what's the niche tea, what I need to know, like what it is. And it's like maybe ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it is honestly better, and the two biggest, like, best pieces of advice I think anyone can take on just general like life online. One, you don't need to post. You don't. If you ever should
Mm,
I post this? No, just don't do it. Two, you don't need to know. Sometimes, I mean, knowledge is great, and the pursuit of knowledge is lovely, but sometimes you literally don't need to know. And I think the line for me that I found is I like people at work and in my life know me as like a sponge for esoteric, useless knowledge. So they'll be like, "Hey, Steve, who's this random guy?" And I'm like, "Oh, so back in 2007, blah, 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 blah. And then this happened, this happened, this happened, this." And I explain it all in like 30 seconds. And I go, "Oh my God, I sound like a psychopath." Because I just
I don't
explained
know.
some
That's how
weird
I am
internet
for
thing from
about a
10
lot
years
of
ago.
things.
Just
So I don't
you
know what
don't need
that
to know
says about me.
sometimes. Just it's better.
That's probably not good though. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, so sometimes this is what happens in our house a lot is I'll come to Chuck and I'll say, "Do you have time for me to explain something that's going to take several steps to get to the thing that I actually want to talk about?"
Yes.
And sometimes he goes, "Yes," and sometimes he goes, "No." But like the most recent thing was like the hear me out cakes. I was like, I was like, "I would like to explain something to you because I wanna know if it's an activity that would interest you or be relevant to your interest in any way." And he said, "Okay." And I actually thought he was gonna say, "This is not my kind of a thing." And then I explained what a hear me out cake was. Do you know what a hear me out cake is?
I do know what a hear me out cake is.
Okay.
Yeah. I got that one.
So and you're still cutting out, so if I'm interrupting you, I apologize. But yeah, so for the uninitiated, a hear me out cake is basically, I mean, it started with like this hear me out thing where it's like, hear me out, this person, character, fictional or real, is attractive. And it started off kind of like, maybe I would say Paul Giamatti, hear me out, like, and that's like pretty normal. And then you start going, oh, like the fox from Robin Hood, like, hear me out, and then people start going, oh, maybe it's the grasshopper from A Bug's Life, that one's been a big one. And then I saw someone say, oh, the number 8, hear me out, the number 8. And so it's like, you start kind of like, and now people are starting to police other people's hear me outs, where they're like, it can't be a human that actually could be attractive. It like should be some creature. And then some people are like, well, it shouldn't be a creature because what are you like? Why are you attracted to a creature? Or like, it can't be a fictional character that was a child because that's weird. And it's like, well, what if I was a kid when I had a crush on this kid? Like, it's just, and so now people are starting to like split hairs and going, well, no, you can't have that on your cake and what, but people are taking this hear me out discussion and then they're like turning them into little characters on sticks and sticking them into a cake. So I had to spend like a long time explaining, like I just did, what a hear me out cake was. And then at the end of it, Tuck was like, I would like to do this activity with you. He's like, this sounds pretty fun. And he's like, what kind of, who would be on your hear me out cake? I'm like, I don't know, like Groot, maybe. I think Groot would probably be on my hear me out cake. He's like, oh, that's a good one. I said, yeah. And like full grown Groot, not like baby Groot or teenage Groot, like full grown Groot. And he's like, I see what the path is. And I like it. And I've got some ideas and I've got some thoughts. And I think we could really put a good cake together. But it's like, it's one of those things where I'm like, you have to amass a certain level of internet knowledge to get to the point where you can even talk about that,
Yeah.
Anyway.
It really is like you have to build up all this information, which is not like productively useful in society
No.
in 99.9% of situations. And then once you have built up all of this useless knowledge, your reward is an additional nugget of useless knowledge.
Yes. Yeah, it's just like, okay, I understand all the rules that people have on this cake and my own feelings. It's that, and it's like the trauma dump candy salad. Between those two things, I'm like, I know too much about the internet and I should probably stop, but I won't stop. But does it mean I post my own things? No. And that's called discernment.
Yep.
Just saying. Anyway,
I
don't know I don't know how we got here, but I'm glad that we're here. And listen, everyone, sorry about, I'm actually using this in like a client email probably, but I'm going to use it here too, because I don't care about reusing content sometimes. I'm going to blame all of the technical issues on Gremlins because it's October. And what else? It's obviously Gremlins. So if you had difficulties watching this because of Gremlins, I'm so sorry, but you can catch clips of us on TikTok and Instagram under Pop Culture Diner. You can check us out at popculturediner.com. If you thought we're like kind of okay and you want to give us a 5-star review, please do that on iTunes and all that stuff. Nice. Tell us you like us. Tell us why. Tell us your fears and who would be on your hear me out cake. I would really be interested in that. And
would you go and see me and Keith's dance troupe?
Yeah,
perhaps,
like,
maybe
that's an idea. That's a thought. Would you like him to live out his dreams, or would you want to just crush his dreams?
Yeah.
That's the question on everyone's mind.
Is this a keep
today.
That to yourself, Steve situation?
Maybe, or maybe it's no. Tell us more. We want to hear more. So remember, it is spooky season. You should have a costume by now. If you don't, it's okay. You still have time to get to Spirit or whatever. You can get there. But make sure to do spooky things, but nothing too spooky. Okay. Be safe, be kind, and don't be the house with apples.
Oh no, you cut out. Wait, I didn't even tell anybody not to do needle drugs. What are you popping for apples? And there's needles in there, and you go, yeah, maybe I'll do that. They're all gonna do them now. The Gremlins struck at the worst possible time.
Sorry, everyone.